Hello and welcome back to my little mastering vlog style chat thing, rambles. I actually recorded this one already, but I had my first failed recording, so 1 in 5 so far went wrong. But this one I think is going to be one of the most useful for everybody who is kind of clicking around about mastering and is interested and clicks on this video. I want to talk about what you actually need to do mastering. And what I'm talking about there is the specific things you might need to buy or get hold of. And I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to expand on some of them later on. The most important thing is listening, not processing, listening. You are hired as a mastering engineer to do quality control checks on the entire audio. So you really need to be, where possible, one-upping everybody else as far as listening goes. And that's listening skills as well as listening equipment. We're going to focus on listening equipment today. You need to have as linear a possible room as far as treatment, and that could be acoustic treatment and or speaker correction. You need to have the most linear and understood by you, the listener, headphones and speakers, usually both in a mastering context, and we'll come on to that at a later date. And you need to have a digital to analog converter, or you might call it a sound card or an audio interface that doesn't, muddy the sound or change the sound and is as transparent, the word we use a lot, transparent in mastering, as possible. This is what you call a reference listening setup. As in, you can check stuff on it. It's not designed to sound nice. It's not designed for working loud on. So it's not designed for, say, for example, tracking vocals and hearing it back, or recording guitars. It's designed specifically for normal level, detailed listening. So you need to be able to hear all of the frequencies possible. You really need to be able to reproduce them. I'm going to come on to room treatment another time because that's just such a mind-bendingly complicated topic. When it comes to software, all you really need is a DAW. Like any DAW will do for the bulk of what we need to do, and stock plugins will do it. I'm going to talk in my next video about specifics of my actual own setup, and I'm trying to be a bit more global in this one. You're basically going to need a compressor that's versatile, an EQ that's versatile, and a limiter that's versatile. Back when plugins didn't exist and mastering studios were like one rack, that's what they had. Plenty of brilliant sounding recordings were mastered on just that, whether it be hardware or software or whatever. So don't feel that you need to buy lots of stuff to get started. You don't. You might find later on that you do, and I'll discuss that a little bit. For those who are interested, because I know some people are more gearheads and less the philosophical side of stuff, so I will, cater to that as well. The only thing that you need that's mastering specific is software that's able to produce production masters. So I talked about production masters earlier on in the series, and that's basically the files that you then send on to the next person in the chain. I use a program called Hofer. It's called Hofer CD Burn Master DDP something Pro. I don't know what it's called. It's got a very long, very German name, in a delightful way. Sorry for poking fun at the Germans there. But I find it really, really good because it's simple. You can copy and paste metadata from tables into it. You can export metadata to tables. It accepts pretty much any audio and it can convert to any audio. And you can basically have a session and you can do all your different production masters from this one session. And it's separate to the processing. It would be nice to do it all in one. I've kind of tried to do that in the past with Wavelab, and you kind of hit clunkiness early on in most of those stages. So I've still got 2 programs. I actually use a third program. I use Isotope RX, which is an absolutely brilliant, as close to industry standard as it comes for post-production. Which I use to QC stuff. QC means quality control. So if I need to check something, so when I get a file, I load it into RX first. It tells me the sample rate, it tells me the bit depth, it tells me the format, lets me see any details, and if I have any questions about stuff, I can run some bits and bobs there. So it's got a really good sample rate converter, which isn't essential, but is something that if you're serious about mastering, you need to have a really good sample rate converter. There's a couple out there, but RX is, as far as I can tell, pretty much objectively the most linear. It's definitely the most versatile. You can do different stuff with it for different genres, which I have done in the past. I won't explain what sample rate conversion is, but it's something that mastering engineers argue about. That and dither, but they're boring, so we're not going to talk about them. Let me spend hours watching videos about it, which I do, but you don't really need to know about that stuff even as a mixing engineer, really. It's good to know, but you don't need to know. So yeah, that's really all you need. You don't, as far as what you need to spend money on, I would spend as much money as possible on speakers, room acoustic treatment, whether that be acoustic treatment panels, which is what I would suggest you start with, bass traps, because objectively you can do the most amount of treatment. You can build them yourself, or you can go to someone like Git, which I did. Not a sponsored video. None of these companies give me stuff for free. I am a beta tester for Isotope, so I do get free copies of Ozone and RX when the beta test is finished, which is great because they're a cutting edge company and I really enjoy working with them, especially RX. RX is, when RX Elements comes on sale on like Plugin Boutique or somewhere like that, just buy it. Like, even if you're a musician, the second you knock your guitar or something, you can open RX Elements and you can get rid of that sound. And sometimes it's sold for like $20 or something. So yeah, top tip at the end of this video, follow Isotope and Plugin Boutique, and when RX Elements comes on for sale, buy it. You can actually sometimes upgrade quite cheap to the bigger versions as well, so if you get it and you want to expand it, there's great deals on that. Not a sponsored video, I don't pay for RX, but I beta test for them, so just going to be completely clear about that. So yeah, those are the things that I suggest, and really we're talking about, you know, under $1,000 you could do this, I think, if you've got mates who can build stuff as well. So yeah, I just hope that that's helpful in so much that if you go on a forum and say, what do I need to start doing some mastering, you'll get a shopping list which is more than the mortgage of a house. Whereas in reality, if you just want to do a little bit and you want to get started, you might already have most of the stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section, or you can email me, contact@joecaithnessmastering.com. My website is joecaithnessmastering.com. And yeah, let me know if there's any topics you want me to discuss or anything you want to expand on, and I can perhaps start doing separate videos for stuff based on your interest. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Hope it's been helpful. Cheers. Goodbye.